Hello, beautiful people. Today is 15th of June. My name is Sahil, and welcome to Newspaper Analysis. Friends, you all know the great APJ Abdul Kalam. He says, great dreams of great dreamers are always transcended. It means that the dreamers or the change makers who actually want to change the society, their vision, their innovation, and their path breaking inventions are always aimed and directed towards the inclusivity. They don't want to make their benefits only to a specific sector, or they don't have the notion of exclusivity. Now guys, this particular statement becomes very much important into the present time when all the countries are searching for the covid-19 vaccine, and there is a threat that what if it is patented, and how then the poor people will be able to afford it. So friends, you can use this particular quote when you are writing the questions onto the answer related to the innovation, IPR, patent protection, all these kind of things, as well as into the essays. And this year there is a high probability that on such a line an essay could come. However, guys, there could be other interpretations also of this particular quote. For example, into the context of great statesman and parliamentarian, it means that their laws should be inclusive and should provide the avenues of adequate development to all, and likewise. So, guys, that's all. And as you know that yesterday was Sunday, so on Sunday we don't take the mains question. So today the mains framework will also not be there. However, you'll get the question today at the end of the video. So, guys, that's all. And now let's take up the newspaper analysis. Now, friends, let's have a brief overview of the entire paper first. So, here we will see that how the my disabled people are suffering into the pandemic. Then we'll take a brief update onto the rising number of cases that are happening. Then, guys, into the middle pages, there are no important relevant news. Then we'll go to the page number 5, where we'll see the magnetic Maharashtra 2.0 and how it can lead to the competitive federalism. Then, guys, we'll come into the editorial section. The first editorial talks about that why India should have an anti-discriminatory law. So certain issues we'll see in this particular regard. Then guys, there is some impending issues into the India-Nepal relations. So we will have a brief look. Then guys, the third editorial is about the recently concluded GST Council's meet. So we'll see what are the issues here. Then guys, this article is not really important because it has some political inclinations. Then moving to the next page. So here we'll see that what are the changes that are needed into the public transport to make it more safer. Then guys, this particular editorial article is not important as it talks as how the Hindu paper collects the data with respect to the covid-19, so I'll not see. Then guys, this is all about how the Bollywood has been insensitive and all that kind of thing. Examination point of view, not important stuff. Then moving forward, so here we'll see that a Malabar gliding frog has been spotted. So what is ISUN status, all this we'll see here. Then guys, on to the next page. India is deploying the naval license into the Indian Ocean Commission and the associated institutions. So we'll see what is happening here. Then guys, moving forward, here you can see that the deforestation is leading to the diseases. So we'll see how. Then other news are not important. Then moving forward, here no relevant articles are there. Then guys, the next page is world page. However, only the protest, COVID, etc. things are there, not important for our exam. Then guys, on to the business page. Today is money wise, where the strategic important things have not been discussed. So that's all. And now let's take up the detailed analysis. Now, friends, as the lockdown and the pandemic is proceeding, everybody is suffering. But into this particular crisis, the disabled people are the ones who are most impacted. Now, this is a very sorry state of affairs, and such issues are important in our GS paper number 2, where the vulnerable sections have been mentioned. So, well, there could be a question as what are the limitations to them and what challenges they are facing. So, on that line, guys, I have divided that what could be the different type of disabilities and what could be their problem. Number one, there are the people with the visual impairment or the people with the blindness. Now they have a lot of problem. Number one, they depend on touch for their day to day activities, and in this particular way they are more vulnerable to coming in contact with the infected surfaces. Number 2, they are dependent on a caretaker who escorts them to the different places. So guys, their health is actually dependent on to the health of a caretaker, and as social distancing has to be observed, this is not possible for them. Thirdly, They cannot see the messages, they cannot read the messages because of the blindness. So guys, they have a unique set of problems. Now coming to the problem with the hearing impairment. First of all, these people cannot hear the messages which are being delivered by the government officials, news agencies, with respect to the precautions that are to be taken. And secondly, if they are illiterate also, then they can't hear, secondly they can't even read. And in that capacity, these people depend on to the sign language, and when people are using the masks, reading that sign or inferring the sign becomes a lot of hurdle. After that, people with physical disabilities also have their own set of challenges. For example, it is very hard for them to frequently reach to the wash basin for washing their hands and to maintain the basic hygiene. And on their own, they can't even maintain the social distancing when the place becomes crowded. Now, coming to the people with the mental challenges or some cerebral diseases such as Down syndrome, they have their own set of challenges. For example, they need people for the basic activities such as feeding, giving them food, etc. And right now, during the time of crisis, this could actually be a big problem. Then, due to intellectual limitations, they are not able to grasp the gravity of the pandemic, and therefore they are specially unattended and even more vulnerable. Now, guys, all these problems are shared by the people with disabilities, and if they happen to be women, then problem aggravates even further because they are now vulnerable to the sexual and physical exploitation also. Moreover, guys, all these problems make a cocktail and leads to the situation of anxiety, stress, and tension, and all these things can induce the diabetes and all these kind of diseases, which makes the COVID-19 even more deadlier. Now, guys, in India we have nearly 150 million people who have some type of disabilities, and nearly 25 to 30 million out of it they have severe disability and needs a caretaker. So even the population of vulnerable people enhances. And guys, in all this thing, government or the media or any responsible stakeholder is not taking any important position. Now, guys, government of India is signatory to the sustainable developmental goals, and their equity and inclusiveness has also been talked about. So respecting that particular thing, urgent actions are needed in this direction. Now, talking about them, you can also use the name of National Center for the Promotion of Employment for Disabled Person. Now, this is a non-governmental organization and have made collaborations with various international leaders, organizations, as well as agencies. And they promote the welfare of the disabled people, encourage their employment, and sensitize the people, and talks about bringing the appropriate legislation. Friends, that's all. And now we'll move to next. Now, taking a brief update onto the COVID 19. So, first of all, India now ranks third highest into the number of daily cases that are coming. However, good thing is that now the recovery rate has increased nearly to 51%. Guys, but here there is one more catch. See, recoveries are those the people who have been discharged from the hospitals. But now the guidelines have been changed by the health ministry, and now before discharging, you don't need to test negative. Rather, if a person doesn't show the symptoms for 3 or more days, he or she could be discharged without a negative test. Moreover, guys, it has been said that India's infection rate in terms of cases per million is very much less. But here again there is a catch that India is conducting far more less number of tests also. So because of that also we are seeing the less number of cases per million. So that's all, and now we'll move to next. Now, friends, here we can see that the Maharashtra government is starting the project Magnetic Maharashtra 2.0. And now this is clearly an attempt to bring the economy back, which has suffered disastrous consequences as the result of the prolonged lockdown. Now, guys, in this particular direction, a lot of MOU are being signed into the sectors such as engineering, car, spare parts, information technology, logistics, chemical, food processing, etc. Now, guys, this was a much needed step given the loss that has already been faced, and this particular thing might lead to a phenomena of a competitive federalism where the different states compete with each other in order to gain the better and more share into the FDI and into the manufacturing sector. And earlier, this phenomena of competitive federalism has been seen into the form of relaxation into the labor laws, where the states such as Rajasthan, Haryana, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, even Maharashtra has performed really good. Moreover, friends, this particular step was much needed right now as large number of firms are leaving China and are seeking the place to relocate. And if some states such as Maharashtra have not been responded, then the relocation could have gone to other Southeast Asian countries such as Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam, etc. So thus it is a appreciated step. But at the same time, other things are also needed to be kept in mind that India into the midst of the pandemic and will be reaching the peak soon, and in that particular direction, though the industrialization should be started, but adequate preventive steps are also needed to be taken so that it doesn't derails the fight onto the pandemic mitigation. So guys, that's all, and now we'll move to next. Now, friends, we are into the editorial section, and this brief editorial talks about the Detroiting India Nepal relations. Now, yesterday also we had seen that how the relations between both the countries have deteriorated, and right now the relations are at the lowest points. Now, guys, you know that the new map has been announced by the Nepal, where Kalapani, Lipu Lake, and Limpia Dhura, which are right now the part of Uttarakhand, have been shown as the part of Nepal into their new map. Now, friends, into the past, in 2000 as well as 2014, the bilateral talks between the India and Nepal has been held with respect to the dispute onto the Kala Pani, and there it was said that bilaterally the all the matters will be resorted. But the present controversy is a clear-cut breach of 2000 and 2014 bilateral talks. Now, guys, in all this while, India's response on two front is problematic. First of all, India had on occasions regarded Nepal's action as motivated by China's inclination, though there could be substance into this particular thing. But as the bilateral talks are pending and Nepal happens to be a sensitive neighbor, these kind of talks by responsible officials does not sounds good onto the diplomatic fronts. And second is that though Nepal is very keen to start a dialogue, but India's Ministry of External Affairs has not given a decisive date to Nepal as when the matter will be discussed. It is avoiding the matter onto the pretext of present pandemic, and Nepal is very much angry that when India is holding the bilateral talks with the Australia as well as into the past also India held virtual meet with the SARC nations. So guys, seeing these two examples, why the date for the Nepal is not being slated, so these are the things, two matters which are actually making the issues more worse and can lead to various far reaching consequences for India. First of all, India should not forget this thing that due to the delay caused into the bilateral dialogues, Nepal had already passed their constitutional amendment act and had officially shown the areas into part of their territory. Now, before the Constitutional Amendment Act has been passed, the matter could have been resolved more effectively, but now the diplomatic space has actually shrunk very much. Moreover, there is one more practical reality that India and Nepal share a very long boundary, and the boundary is porous, unmarked, as well as open at large number of points. And if Nepal wants to open the offensive against India, then there could be large problem onto the internal security challenge, when the China will also be very much ready to support the Nepal as a revenge for the LAC as well as other issues from India. Moreover, guys, the talks should be very much sensitive and the insecurities of Nepal should be kept into the mind, because earlier in 2015, India sponsored blockade onto the Nepal has caused serious damage to the relations already. So, guys, a kind of a special relation which started in 1950 as a consequence of India Nepal Friendship Treaty should not end at this point and rather should be revisited and re-envisioned. So guys, that's all. Now we'll move to next. Now, friends, this editorial talks about the recently concluded meet of the GST Council. Now, first of all, if you don't know about the GST compensation, how it is distributed, what are the principles, then I will highly recommend that please go and see the newspaper analysis of 13th June, and the timestamp is 9:47. So there we had discussed this entire mechanism, so you can see that thing. Now, guys, going into the editorial. So First of all, the meet of the GST Council has held. So let's see that the provisions of the GST Councils. So they are contained into the Article number 279 of the Indian Constitution. And the member of the GST Council will be the Finance Minister, Union Finance Minister will be the chairman, and the Union Minister of State for the Finance or Revenue will be one of the member. Apart from them, finance ministers of the different states or the ministers in charge of the taxation will also be the members. So guys, this is the representation of the state, and this plus this is the representation of the union. Now into the GST councils, matter related to the GST are decided. For example, how compensation will be given, when will be given, how much will be given, what will be the rates of GST, all these matters are decided. Now guys, this as recently the GST Council met, there certain important decisions were taken. For example, certain exemptions were given for the entities who have to file their GST. For example, in certain cases, the late fees was relaxed. In some cases, late fees was completely waived off, and such kind of things were taken. Moreover, friends, even before this GST Council meet, center government has taken a good step for the state government, as center government has gave the GST compensation to the state for the month of December to the February. So guys, as right now states are into the large pressure, so such kind of money by the center government will be helping the states. Now, this particular step is appreciated greatly, but there are certain issues also onto the federal front which are lying unattended and which could be problematic into the times to come. Number one, right now we all know that the state government need money for the testing, for the healthcare expenditure, and all that kind of thing. And for that thing, state government was asking the center government, please allow us to borrow more money. Now, central government has allowed the state government to borrow more money, but a lot of conditionalities have been imposed. Only if the state governments will take promise that a large number of reforms will be taken, only then they can borrow the money. Now guys, it is being said that the reforms are much needed, but right now seeing the emergency situation, such type of conditionalities should not be imposed, and freely state governments should be given a permission to borrow the money. Secondly, there is right now an issue that the tax collection why the GST needs to be rationalized so that collection for the government increases. But at the same time, it should not become a disincentive for the various manufacturing as well as producing sectors. So therefore, guys, adequate and proper tax rate on large number of items were to be decided, but there no decision came out. And again, the meet will happen in July. Then the decision will taken. Now, guys, for this particular thing, please keep in mind that till now, all the decisions as the GST Council have been taken at the consensus. But now, this particular matter as what new tax rates should be, should not go into such territory that the disputes arise here. Then, guys, thirdly, there is one more issue. Now, center government is finding difficulty to give money to the state government, and now the question is there that from where the center government should bring the money. On that particular thing also the consensus is needed to be reached. And now guys, all these things are due for the month of July. So into the times to come, we need to see that how these economic developments will take place. So guys, that's all. Now we'll go to next. Now, friends, into the past, we had seen various issues with respect to the racism, including a full video onto the origin, history, implication, etc. Now, further going into the racism, this editorial provides a very fundamental point of view into this connection. See, it has been said that the racism or the discrimination is not the crude exercise of discrimination or crudely segregating a white from a black. Rather, it also includes the practices that are fair in the form. On the face, it will look fair, but are discriminatory into the operation. Now, guys, when we talk about India, then Article number 15 talks very specifically onto the right to equality. And into the Article number 15, subclause 2, it has been written that any act which discriminates people on the basis of religion, race, caste, sex, place of birth, or denial with respect to access of shops, public restaurant, hotels, places of public entertainment, etc., will be violative of the constitution. Now guys, we have the things into the place, but Will it mean that we have the anti discrimination mechanism in place? The answer is no. One example of a Supreme Court judgment has been given here. Now, guys, here Supreme Court in 2005 gave a judgment into the case known as Zoroastrian Cooperative Housing Society case. Here, Supreme Court ruled in favor of a bylaw where it was said that in this particular society the flats could not be sold to the non-Parsi people. So, according to the Supreme Court, Parsis have a fundamental right to associate with each other, and therefore the bylaw for such a discrimination is right. Now, here it has been said that the Supreme Court forgot the wider implication of Article 15, Subclause 2, which can be noted if we go deeper into the Constituent Assembly debates. Now, friends, if you remember earlier, I told you in 15 subclause 2, it has been given that no person should be discriminated with respect to the access of the shops. So, here into the Constituent Assembly, it was said that the shop should not mean merely the physical shop, rather, it should include into the wider umbrella all the economic activities. So, wherever the discrimination is being carried, that should not be allowed. And guys, into this particular case, an economic activity has been denied, which is actually not preferred according to the vision of the Constituent Assembly. So, therefore, according to the editorial, it is being said that India is a unique democracy. Why? Because there is a full-fledged part into the constitution which gives the fundamental right, but there are no enabling laws to implement these fundamental right, though there are certain laws on certain articles such as article 17, but on article 15 per se we don't have a comprehensive legislation which is required. In this direction, a private members bill has also been announced, however the success has not been achieved. So, on one front, we need to bring such a comprehensive law which will recognize the civil liberties, and on other hand, guys, always the laws are not the panacea, they are not like the magic pills that they can solve everything, but a will, an understanding, and a consciousness in the society should also be taken so that the differentiations, discriminations could be rectified. Moreover, guys, not only the overt discrimination is only the act of discrimination, but many a times the biasness is inherited through differential procedures, through the rules, and through some other kind of things. So that is also needed to be recognized. So guys, this is all into this particular aspect, and now we'll move to the next. Now, friends, this particular editorial talks about the implication of COVID on public transport and the alternative strategies to make public transport more safer. Now, as the lockdown has started, the public transport have also been closed due to the fear of transmission. Moreover, guys, according to the study of MIT USA, it has been said that into the New York there was much profusion of virus due to the metro's network or the subway network. So, in a way, it is being said that the public transport can lead to the infections. Moreover, guys, due to this particular thinking only, as the lockdown restrictions have been lifted, still people are not preferring the public transport, and it has been seen that usually the population traveling into the public transport has been far less, leaving certain exceptions aside where the alternatives were not possible. Now, guys, a question comes that how much metro are safer into this particular thing. So, guys, according to various studies, it has been said that into the closed air conditioned chambers, there is much probability that transmission will be faster because, guys, it has been concluded that into the open spaces, the risk of contamination and infection is far less. So, as a consequence, the result comes that the unair conditioned buses with large windows will be more safer to travel. But guys, this understanding is oversimplified because the infection also depends on to the contact time, that is the time spent into the vicinity where the viral load was into the air. So guys, into this direction, the journey of the metros is usually less than 20 minutes. So therefore, the intensity again reduces into the metros. However, one more issue comes with respect to the metros and other transports as well. That is, hand contact with the common surfaces, because there could be a probability that these surfaces will be contaminated by the asymptomatic carriers. And when the healthy people will come in contact, they will also pick up the viral loads and the infection will shoot up. So there needs to be more brainstorming as how the common handrails, hand rings, and all these kind of things will be dealt. Now, guys, further talking, the editorial also provides certain suggestions as what could be done to make the public transport more safer. So, in this direction, number one, designated staffs could be hired who will wipe the hand grips more frequently to keep the infected surfaces away. Moreover, guys, to the travelers, wet sanitizing wipes could be given so that they can use it into their hands before touching any surface. Thirdly, it is also necessary that before the passengers leave the station, they should clean their hand. So, their hand sanitizers should be provided, and the volunteers should make sure that they clean their hands before leaving the station. Moreover, we had seen that if there is external flow of air, then it reduces the intensity. So, guys, in this particular direction, certain experiments could be done if the safety measures allow that particular thing. For example, into certain number of coaches there should be no people, and the staff should operate the metro with the doors open, and there should be the attendants to secure the safety of other passengers also. However, right now these things are not going on, but they could be considered. Then, guys, the air conditioning system of the metros should be changed with the high efficiency particulate air filters so that fresh air circulation could be maintained. Moreover, guys, not only the government needs to pay attention here, but the aware and vigilant citizens are also needed who can take their self care and can abide by all the norms. So, guys, these are certain things in this regard. Now we'll move to next. Now, friends, here the Malabar gliding frog has been mentioned, which has recently been spotted into the Kerala. Now, this frog has a peculiar quality that it can make long leaps up to 10 to 12 meter, and its sighting is very much rare. Now, guys, with respect to the habitat, this frog is endemic to the Western Ghat region, and onto the IUCN Red List has been given the status of least concerned. So that's all. Now we'll move to next. Now, guys, in this particular news, we can see that India is now deploying the naval licensing officers at two places, that is at the Madagascar and the Abu Dhabi. Now, seeing the background information. So, guys, what has happened recently? India had become the observer member at the Indian Ocean Commission. Now, talking about IOC, so guys, it is a grouping of the Indian Ocean countries which aim to achieve the political, diplomatic cooperation, economic cooperation, and to go for the sustainable development. And it has members such as Union of Comoros, Seychelles is the member, then the Mauritius, Reunion Islands, and finally the Madagascar. Moreover, it also has the observer members. These are China, India, Japan, Malta, EU, Organization International de la Francophonie, and the United Nations. Now, guys, because India has become the member of the Indian Ocean Commission, now it can place the licensing officers or the officers which will facilitate the information at two centers. These are the Regional Maritime Information Fusion Center, which is located into the Madagascar, and the other is the European Maritime Surveillance Initiative, which is located at the Abu Dhabi into Strait of Hormuz. Now, friends, this will greatly enhance the capability of Indian Navy into the terms of information, as well as information sharing mechanisms into the region will also be enhanced by this particular step. So, guys, that's all, and now we'll move to next. Now, guys, here the High Court of Manipur has said that the deforestation could also be linked with the many diseases. And in this particular direction, the High Court of Manipur has ordered the state to restore the forest cover into the state. Now, this particular observation is based on to the various studies, including the notings by the Charles Darwin, the great protagonist of the survival of the fittest theory, and as well as of the evolutionary scientist. Now, such an observation is not wrong because, guys, right now, the pandemic which we are facing has a zoonotic origin. It means that the virus was originated probably into the bat which live into the wild habitations, and into the times to come. There could also be various other epidemics also which could have the zoonotic origin. Now, animals are the huge reservoirs of large number of viruses, and when due to the deforestation their boundaries are blurred, they try to venture into the human territories, and from there the viruses are communicated to the humans which become the accidental host, and therefore they are suffering. So guys, this is actually a very good in noting in this particular regard, and you can use this particular example and observation into the environment and ecology conservation related questions also. So that's all, and now we'll move to the question section. Now, the question number one is with respect to the Jal Jeevan Mission. So, please consider these statements and identify the right option. Now, question number two is with respect to the chikungunya. So, guys, please identify the right option. And question number three is with respect to the Great Oxidation Event. So, what does this means? Identify the right option. And now we are into the mains question. So guys, the question is this: into the context of rising urbanization, the call for transformation from conventional transport system to smart transportation is not only necessity but inevitable. So you need to substantiate on this particular statement, and it is from your GS paper number 1, urbanization. So friends, try to attempt this question and submit it for the review. So guys, that's all. I hope you're liking our discussion. Thank you so much.